One trend that I've been noticing lately, they are denying that critical race theory is being taught to students in the lower grade levels, primary schools, elementary schools, middle schools, high schools. And they are denying it everywhere they could get a chance. And what this does is that this demonizes the very fact that critical race theory is being taught. It villainizes critical race theory as a curriculum, as a set of facts. It basically makes it seem as if it was something that students could not handle and should not handle and should not be taught. It basically gives credence, it gives credibility to the harmfulness of critical race theory. When you deny, oh no, it's not being taught, don't worry about it, young students are not being exposed to such thing, it is implying the harmfulness of critical race theory, when in fact critical race theory is not harmful, when in fact critical race theory is nothing but the actual truth. And of course, the very people that deny that critical race theory is being taught in the schools may be correct in most instances. However, by harping on this fact, they are only solidifying the idea that critical race theory is negative, is in fact harmful, and it should not be taught in lower level educational environments. This is far from the case. This should be far from the case. The very people that are parroting this denial that CRT is not being taught in lower levels of school should be, in turn, instead, be supporting it, be explaining it. They should be, instead of denying that it is being taught, should be supporting the idea of it being taught, even in the lower levels of school. Of course, in its appropriate level, it should be taught as it is appropriate to be taught, depending on what level that student is. So of course, it's not going to be taught at the same level or in the same method that in primary school that it would be taught in high school. It would not be taught at the same level that is taught in high school if you teach it in college or even postgraduate levels. Of course, is going to be different when taught in first grade as opposed to being taught in the 12th grade of high school. As it is math, as it is science, as it is any other subject, of course, the level of detail, the level at which it is explained, the methods used, the stories used, the level of description is not going to be the same. Of course, but CRT, critical race theory, should be taught even in first grade to a first grade level. The truth should be introduced as early as possible, of course, with a different approach depending on the level. Critical race theory does not bring shame to anyone. It just states the facts. It states the facts as they occurred, depending on their magnitude and importance in American history. Of course, you cannot hide the fact that the American natives were moved, evicted, and killed in large numbers. That is basic to American history, and something as basic and as important as that has to be taught in one way or another, beginning as early as first grade. You cannot omit large parts of American history because you want to protect a certain group of people from quote-unquote offense, quote-unquote hurt feelings, quote-unquote discomfort, while at the same time doing everything within your power to do the same, hurt, oppress, and make uncomfortable other groups, including African Americans, immigrants, and Native Americans. These groups are repeatedly put in a bad light, and they have been throughout history here in America. In history books, textbooks, media, all over the place, they have been omitted. They have been put in a bad light, given very little, if any, credit for just about anything in history or science, in fact. And this, of course, offends, hurts, makes uncomfortable those groups, but it is somehow okay to make those groups uncomfortable and invisible many times, put in a very bad light, meaning putting blame on them, while at the same time attempting to shield another group from the same treatment. That is exactly what CRT gets rid of. It gets rid of the shielding and brings everyone to a good or bad light depending on the situation in history. And it doesn't care who you are, what group you're from. It states the facts as they were. Again, depending on only a few factors. One of them being magnitude, the other one being importance to the accurate telling of American history.